Hello, welcome to an episode of Duma Draws. I think that's what I'll be calling it because I'll probably say it's a tutorial or something. You'll know. You'll read the title. Oh, the convenience of YouTube. In this episode, I will be focusing on eyes because I tried doing another tutorial and I really messed up because I tried showing you how to draw furries. And as you know, that meant having to trying to teach you how to draw eyes, which in this picture are very wide spaced apart. Don't do that. Trying to draw noses, how to space it out evenly and what's not. Fur tufts. This is looking really weird because I didn't draw any guidelines. The mouth should not be here unless it's open or something. Yeah, so basically I tried drawing a really dumb furry or something. And that tutorial didn't end up very well as it's not on YouTube. It took way too long, and me trying to explain how this ends up becoming like a furry and whatnot ended up being way too complicated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a how to draw series, and basically it's going to just take in some of my artwork and my style, because you know what, a lot of people have different styles. Each tutorial on YouTube is like, oh, if you want to draw in this style, do this. If you want to draw in this style, do this. But I don't know how to draw on all of those styles. All I know is my own, and I'm kind of okay with that. So I'm going to help you artists develop your own styles, and I'm very sorry the phone is ringing. And in order to do that, I'm going to make this series, and hopefully, hold on a sec. Hopefully you'll be able to learn how to draw your own furries in your own style by the end of this series, and trust me, it won't be that long. So by the end of the series, you'll probably be able to draw your own furries, your own characters, based on whatever guidelines you like. And so this is basically part 1. And this episode, or whatever I'm going to call it, we're just going to focus on eyes, as I said before. And I'm sorry about the little introduction there. I decided to explain things as this is episode 1. And with eyes, it really depends on what type of character you're drawing. If it's like a type of furry, like I said, this is my style. So if you want to learn another style, go to a different tutorial. Or if you want to learn something more realistic, once again, another tutorial. If you like the way I've been doing things, I guess you can kind of look at how I do it. Even if you don't like my style, you can just kind of learn from the aspects of what I've been doing. So for the eyes I'd like to draw, for the eyes of cats, I would say, hold on, let me just finish this little sketch over here, kind of show you what I'm doing. Step by step. Alright. So for the eyes I like doing, let me specify which eye this is. This is the right eye. For eyes, what I do is, and yeah, depending on what type of character it is. For cats, it's mainly, no, that's more of a dog. Sorry. Oh, thank you. My painting software is a bit weird. For cats, I like doing a more type of triangular eye. It starts off with kind of a curve going upwards, like an arc. And think of a circle. Actually, yes. A circle. Which, this would be kind of wrong. I'm bad with this. I'm sorry. Think of a circle. The arc on top of a circle. Let me make it darker. Or in another color because that makes things a lot easier. Think of the arc of this circle, and only instead of following it, the arc kind of extends a little bit, and then curves and follows the other arc from the same circle. Then it kind of extends down and bends like that. Then what I do is I kind of follow along this, because for cat's eyes, you don't really see much of the white of their eye. Actually, I'm pretty sure you barely see it at all, but as you know, my style is very cartoonish, and most of the time, indeed, you can see the white of their eyes. Add a little bit of depth, like the inside of their eyes, which I will make black for the purpose of this video. I'm very sorry if you're a professional artist and you're looking at my art like, no, that is not how you do that. I'm sorry. So, cats kind of have very triangular eyes, from what I've noticed at least. And you don't really see the white of them much. At least for my style. Some artists don't draw their eyes being shown at all. They'll draw something like this and have the eye covering most of the whole thing, and everything else would be black. A lot of people do that with wolves, actually. This will be a type of eye, and then I'll have it more realistic and have shading around the edges, which I don't do very much. Well, I do it, but I like drawing these things inside of the eye. Yeah, so they'll have it like that or something. So no white of the eye at all is being shown. And depending what style, yet again, you like to draw in. Furry, furry, furry eyes. What the I need to stop singing. Alright. I say I write too much. I am very sorry if you do not like that. It's just kind of my way of saying, alright, time to go on to the next part. So, another thing I like to do is I like adding a highlight to the upper right part of the eye. I do know there are artists out there that love adding their highlights to this part of the eye, and that is perfectly fine. It's up to you, what you like, your style. For me, it's always on the right side of the eye. It's usually a circle, but of course the circle gets cut off so you don't see the full thing. That looks like a very lopsided circle. So you only see part of it, and the long run is pretty much like a long arc. Then under it, sometimes, depending, I'll draw a small circle for another highlight. Another thing I like to do is drawing a highlight that extends from here to here. Only, you don't see it very here much. I use it in color. I'll make this part of the eye kind of, I guess, gray or yellow, depending. And I'll make this a lot lighter, exactly where this highlight is. But it's not really that prominent. But you'll see what I mean when I color it in. Another thing I like to do is, since the lid of the eye casts a shadow, I'll put a shadow on this part of the eye. Not the highlight, of course, but the rest of it. So this part will be colored in. Usually I make it black, but sometimes I make it a darker color of the actual eye. Once again, this is a cat eye, and those are not eyelashes. Let's make life a little bit simpler for all those watching this tutorial. My voice is very annoying, I apologize. And I sing way too often. Alright. So, I'm fixing this up because it looked weird. So I'll add a shadow, to this part of the eye because of the eyelid and just the way the eye is shaped, at least. And I drew lines here because I wanted to mark where the shadow is. And I'll make this a darker color when I color that in, kind of like how I have a highlight over here. which you cannot see. Actually, let me make it yellow. A very dim yellow. And just to show you what I'm talking about, because I'm talking about it and not showing you, and that's not the point of the tutorial. Actually, let's make it deeper, because you know what? I'm emphasizing this. I'll have the shadow like that, following the kind of arc that I was talking about earlier. And like I said, oh, let me take the color. I will have a highlight over where this one is, and of course I'll be blurrier in the long run, but we'll have a type of shadow thing going on. And another part I didn't move on to is the middle of the eye, which, like I said, I will get to everything with time. I didn't say that, but I did now. So we have her eye. Well, what else would it be? Anyway, we have our eye, and we have the highlights that I showed you, and this is gonna kind of go onto the eye itself over here. I'm just outlining that for now. I might erase it when we go into color. It's depending on how I feel, I guess. Sometimes I won't actually erase these marks. Ooh. Sometimes I won't erase the marks, and I'll just kind of leave them there as a cartoony effect. And sometimes I will indeed erase this part. Or I might not even draw this part in at all. I'll just change the color as I feel necessary. You change things a lot as you go through art. And in the long run, you'll realize it doesn't really matter, because you drew it, it's going to look nice no matter what. The main part of art is do not care about what other people think about your art. If you're first starting off art, you never drew a day in your life, and one day you pick up a pencil and go, okay, I'm going to draw. You know what? It might not be good. You might be like, you might think it's the greatest thing you've ever drawn, and then you might look at another artist and go, oh, my art stinks. But don't do that, because you know what? It isn't worth it. And if you just keep drawing and drawing, one day you'll become better and better. And you'll look at that other person's art. Sometimes you'll still say, oh, that person might be better, but they're improving as you are, depending on what artist you're looking at. If you're looking at, when I was little, one artist that inspired me a lot on YouTube was DarkKokiri. Let me actually write out her username. She animates cats and stuff like that, and I thought it was the coolest thing. I've always wanted to draw like her when her first videos first came out. And as I grew up, I started learning her style. Like, she doesn't draw anime. She'll draw an eye like about this. No, actually, that's more of my style. Let me try mimicking it. I'm sorry if this isn't accurate. I'm sorry, DarkKokiri, if you're actually looking at this and realizing that I can't mimic your style very well, but so she drew an eye kind of like this, and she had a way of putting a highlight in the middle. I guess the highlight kind of was there, and she drew a very cartoonish eye. It wasn't very anime looking at all, but a lot of people did mistake her artwork for anime, and she would have to correct them a whole bunch of times. And so her eyes for characters and furries look like this, basically. I might be wrong, once again. And her style of drawing was very it wasn't anime-ish. Like an anime eye would be all curvy and full of highlights and whatnot, and hers wasn't that, which is why she wasn't Japanese, which is the main reason she said, no, my art is not anime. Which you can technically draw anime if you're not Japanese, but a lot of people actually argue about that. Can you draw anime if you're not Japanese? Yes, you can draw in a Japanese traditional type of art style, even if you are not Japanese. Just like you can draw an American style if you're not American. For an example, the anime PSG. Done to make fun of like the American art styles, how simple they were. American cartoon eyes that often look like that. Oh, I'm actually doing this wrong. There are a lot of American art styles that kind of have this type of eye where the highlight is legitimately the middle of the eye for some reason. And then the colors in here. Which I'm not doing a very good job of because I'm only using one color. And they kind of draw the eyes like this. A lot of American style characters are kind of like that. And instead of like the anime hair which flows and does all that whatnot, nice detail, American hairstyle is kind of like very simple. I'm drawing a very familiar character for those of you who liked TV in the 90s. Do you know who it is? No? Great. So, yeah, I have no idea where I was going somewhere, and then I started changing things and what's not. Back to the track of DarkKokiri. I wanted to draw her like her very badly, and one day I realized my art style and hers eventually became very similar, and I was like, wow, my art improved that much? And she stopped updating one day, and I went on to add more detail and this and that to my artwork. And one day, I was just so happy because I realized that I was almost as good as she was. And I think that's a really good part about art, is when you improve, and then you kind of look back at your old art, and you say, no, I can't believe I drew like that a few years ago. And even if you were little and you didn't draw very well, or even if you're old right now, like if you're 20 and you haven't drawn a thing in your life, if you keep drawing, then years in the future you'll kind of look back at that and go, oh my god. And that feeling is just one of the coolest things about being an artist. Back to eyes. I'm sorry about this whole schmeal I have going on. DarkKokiri, I will try to put a link to her channel, and I will also put a link to her channel at the end of the video for those of you who want to check her out. She hasn't updated her art in a really, really long time. I really wish she would, but until then you can look at her old videos and kind of wonder, how amazing must she be now? I mean, she was really good many years ago. She must be even better now. If you have any like art experiences about an artist you really liked and then one day you were kind of like, I'm almost as good as them, tell me about it in like the comments below. That would be really nice to hear about from you guys. So, back to the tutorial. I'm sorry, I'm kind of doodling along the side. I have a little mark over here from when I was talking about the shape of the eye. And we'll go over to the pupil. The colored part is the iris, and I believe the dark part is the pupil. Depending on how I feel, once again, like sometimes I'll color this a darker part, color of the eye. And because this is green, I'm going to make a green eye instead of a black eye. And sometimes I'll just color this whole part in black. Once again, if you're the artist, it really depends on what you want to do. You can do anything, I swear, and it will turn out good. Even if you don't think your art is great, like, let me move this along to the side. There's some people that only draw stick figures. And you know what? If you can only draw stick figures and you're like, but I don't want to draw complicated things. I want to draw little dot eyes and cute little stick figures. And maybe even just animate them, make them move. There are people that do that. And I will tell you about them. On on Hatena, which is shutting down soon, or it might have already shut down depending on when you watch this video, people have animated the most amazing stick figures I've ever seen in my life. And even if you're if you're a really good artist, there's some things that they just draw, and it's stick figures. And you're kind of, even if you draw beautiful, realistic faces, and really quality animations of them blinking and whatever, and you look at these stick figures, and you feel challenged by them because they're so awesome. The way they're animated, the way they move, it's the coolest thing. So you don't have to draw you don't have to draw professionally, you don't have to do this and that. You can draw stick figures and you can still be really cool and really awesome at it. Once again, it depends on what you do with your animating powers. So onto the eye, what I usually do, and once again, you do not have to, or you can do it opposite if you want to, is I color in the outer part of the eye a darker color. Why I do this, I don't know, I like it. So I'll color in the outside part of an eye this color, let's say. And you know how I said opposite? If you want to, let's take this eye for example. And you have the same exact thing that I took 5 years to draw. If you want to make this part darker than the outside part, instead of making the outside part darker than the inside part, be my guest. Oh, here goes the phone. Hold on a second. Be my guest. Draw however you want. Color how you want. I will do I will do a thing about colors later on, which I have learned over the years and from friends that also draw. If you're watching this, you know who you are. So, going on to the eye, I'm gonna do a thing about layers also later on. So please follow in my how to draw videos if you really like these and me just blabbing on and on and on. So what I like doing is I make the eye darker. Oh, and I just did something here that I should have explained. I'm sorry. This part, since the darkest part of the eye is over here, I feel like, I don't know, that it's necessary to kind of make the darkness go away. If that makes sense, by making a type of gradient and coloring it in, because, I don't know, I guess shadows fade over time. Once again, it's just something that I've picked up and really like. And I make the middle of the eye over here. I like making it a lighter type of color, and since this is a green eye, I'll make it a light green, leaving the highlights white and I really like the way they look right now, so I'm honestly not going to, actually, I do feel like doing this. I'm going to go to the highlights over here and get rid of the line art. And I feel like going over the eye today. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I feel like adding some more highlights. Highlights, as you can tell, are just circles or just orbs of reflecting light. Another type of highlight which I really like is some people add a highlight like that to the curve of the eye, which looks pretty cool. I like making if I ever do those, I like making them kind of look like this, if it makes sense. Oh no, wait, wrong layer. I like making them a more yellower version of the color that I'm using. Which I don't know, I just really like the way it looks. You don't need an explanation for everything in art. And I like doing things like that. And I like how that looks actually, so I'm going to keep it there. But let me fix this highlight because it looks a little bit weird. So you have the reflections, the shadowing of the eye, the color along the outside. And this is just for cat eyes, I guess. I'm not really sure if this qualifies as a tutorial, because I don't know. There's other tutorials out there that are greater than this one. Let's be honest. If you've ever seen a different type of tutorial. Oh, a great person that makes really amazing tutorials is Criley. I extremely apologize if I spell your name wrong. It might have 2 L's, it might have exactly as many L's as I put, but I might have put something in the wrong place. I don't know. But I will put a link to his account at the end of the video if you'd like to go there. And this is kind of how to make cat eyes. As you can see, this is a more, I don't know, realistic kind of eye. For most of my characters, at least I'll use the type of eye that is pretty much the same as my human eyes. I don't know why. I like my cat eyes and human eyes being the same. It's just kind of my style of eyes. I really like how it looks. And I also, like I said, I leave a lot of white of the eye, which a lot of people do not do, depending on what eyes they're drawing. Since I already showed you how to color it in, and told you about like the shading, how this part can be darker, and I think I covered most of that. If I didn't, please leave a comment below, and I will make a second video about all of the questions I've received, if I receive any at all. Another thing I like to do is, with these eyes, I'll shade them in exactly the same way that I just showed you, only without any color. Just the same exact one color, which I apologize for using over and over. No, I can't sing. I forgot. YouTube rules and copyright. Hold on a sec. Let me pause the video. I apologize. My brother wanted to talk to me about his phone. So for eyes, like for my type of style eyes, I leave a lot of white in the eyes, which is not realistic whatsoever. But once again, if you like leaving a lot of whites in your eyes when you draw, or if you don't like leaving any at all, then once again, that's up to you. Let me zoom in over here. There are wolf eyes, which I've seen, and some really amazing ones actually, which I'm not very good at drawing. I haven't drawn wolf eyes like in that type of style for a very long time, so I apologize if I'm doing it wrong or if it doesn't look too good. Once again, not my style. Shouldn't be expected to draw very well in it. And they'll basically have the eye taking up most of the space. I'm pretty sure they might not be as long as I have drawn them, but that's okay. Following this tutorial, actually, please feel free, and please, you're not obligated to do this or anything, but leave a video if you can about how you draw eyes and your experiences, if you ever liked an artist on YouTube and you really wanted to draw like them, and one day you were like, I'm almost as good as you, or something. Please tell me your stories, leave a video response, leave a comment, like the video if you like it, dislike it if you honestly do not. I will not feel insulted, do not worry. It'll just help me with later tutorials. And so I've seen wolf eyes draw like this with no white of the eyes showing at all, or yellow of the eyes, really, depending on what creature you're drawing. And I've seen wolf eyes drawn like that. I'm sorry if it looks a little bit weird. Let me... Oh, that's a wrong color. Well, there technically aren't any wrong colors in art. Which, once again, I'll make a tutorial about colors and things like that. See, like, those colors, depending on how you use them, can go along really well. But I'm using very soft colors, and I just want this to be a soft color type of thing. So I want to try to make my colors match. I guess this is okay. I apologize if it looks weird. I've been saying I apologize a lot. It would be ironic if I said I apologize for that, but I'm not sorry. So, I've seen wolf eyes drawn like this, basically, where they have, no whites of the eyes showing. I don't know what I'm doing here. Not my style eye. Not my style eye. Not my style of eye. Not my style of eye. Not my style of eye. I need to stop singing, my voice sucks. So, I've seen eyes drawn kind of like that. Like this, like this. It really all depends on what you like drawing. And Mark Criley over here, he has a really great video, which I will link if I know how to, if I find out how to link things, because I haven't been on YouTube in so long, and I haven't linked anything in a really long time. He made a video about legitimately, like about 100 different styles of eyes, and that would be his eye video, which I also hope to link. I might just link, hover over the eyes, because I might link the videos there. And his art video about eyes is more specific and talks about different things a lot better than I have. He's very specialized with tutorial videos, and I'm not. I like making speed paint, as you can tell. And this has been my thing about eyes. And I hope you learned a thing or two from my video, and I thank you very much for watching. Please rate, subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Don't feel obligated. And if you would like to see more, please leave a comment saying, hey, please make more, because then it might inspire me to make more. Make me happy. And check out these two if you want to. And all that good jazz. So, thank you for watching. And now you get to watch me destroy everything with a lot of colors and scribble. This is not different colors. That's different colors. Beautiful.